to Dick Enberg's family. Dick was actually he became a friend later in his later years, in the last 10 years or so. Both living in San Diego, had an unbelievable opportunity to work with him. Doing a game on the aircraft carrier in San Diego. I think it was Syracuse and San Diego State. And what a thrill that was for me, having grown up, in the 70s and 80s, listening to him do UCLA basketball and Rams games, and then of course going on to NBC to cover the Final Four and the NCAA tournament. And he really is a voice from my childhood, and just absolutely egoless, talented, special human being. And so it was really, really devastating news this morning to read about Dick's passing. And so I send my love to his family and friends, and offer my thanks for somebody who really made a big impact on my life. So thank you. Who wants to start?
Draymond said it's been boring sitting out the past few games, but it was an opportunity, he said, to grow up and see the big picture, that he needed the time to let his body heal. Why do some players not arrive at that destination where they let themselves heal, they let themselves take the time? How big is it that Draymond recognized that?
Well, Draymond has always been a guy who plays on the edge. He wasn't the McDonald's All-American. He was, the 35th pick in the draft, whatever. He's worked, scrapped for everything he's gotten, and he's gotten there through sheer determination. So a guy like that does not want to sit out any games. But I think he is recognizing the importance as we go through the season of being smart, getting rest when he's injured, when he's banged up, in order to keep his body strong for the long haul. And he sees that, and he understands it, and I'm thrilled to have him back. I mean, he was high energy at shoot around this morning, and we need that. It feels like we're at a kind of a point where we need a jolt. The other night was slow and kind of a boring game, and so I'm really excited that Draymond's back, and we both look forward to yelling at each other.
He takes a break from that too?
Yes, yeah. The last couple of weeks it's been way too cordial.
Just to clarify, is Steph definitely not going to play on Christmas Day?
I would be shocked. I mean, we haven't made that determination. At least we haven't even discussed it. But he's moving better and better. He'll probably do more court work. What's tomorrow? Saturday? Maybe Sunday he'll come in. In my mind, even if he came in and said, "I feel great," it would be irresponsible to play him. As much as everybody wants to see him, as much as I want to see him on the floor, we've got to be smart with this. So 99.999% that he's out. How's that?
Draymond said in the past that he would have potentially protested you benching him for the last 4 games.
He would have what?
Protested
yeah.
being benched, he said, but this time around he was a little more mature about it. What have you seen from him in terms of his growth and his maturity in handling things like this?
Well, we have a great relationship. I think the fact that we've been through everything together over the last few years allows us to, as I joked about, yell at each other sometimes and passionately argue things, and so we trust each other, and there's an understanding, and so I think that he's more willing to accept an opinion from Bob and from me these days than maybe he would have been a few years ago. I think he's very comfortable in the fact that we have his best interest at heart. And he's also comfortable with the knowledge that comes from, the wisdom that comes from 3 straight finals trips, how difficult it is, and making certain things priorities are like more important than, playing a game when you're kind of 50-50.
Steve, with Draymond, he was talking a lot about when he was out, he was still trying to find ways to be engaged with the team, with giving feedback to some of the young guys and doing other things. What did you notice as far as how he approached that part of it?
He was still talking a lot of trash from the sidelines, which we like. He's always giving Jordan Bell pointers, which is great. He's a good mentor for Jordan. But he was antsy, and he couldn't wait to get back. And he's where he belongs. This is what he's supposed to do: is play and compete and get up and down the floor and yell and scream. I mean, this is who Draymond is. So that's the stuff on the last couple of weeks, just trying to mentor. It was great, but this is him tonight.
Will Zaza, Andre, and Sean be available tonight?
No Zaza, no Sean. Andre is questionable. He was, as of this morning, he was actually decent shape, and he thought he would play. But we'll see. Depends on how he feels at game time.
One thing, having Draymond as you've been able to play Bell or have played Bell before a lot more. Have you liked it? Is there a combination maybe with JaVale or with Looney or some combination of 4 or 5 that you've liked, especially with Jordan playing the 4?
Well, I think he's proven he can play the 4 with any of our 5s and be effective. We started JaVale with him the last couple of games, so we've played him periodically with different 5s, and I think he's, because of his ability to guard the perimeter and pass the ball, he's perfectly capable of playing the 4. And tonight he'll be playing with Draymond. We'll start both of them. And I don't know which one's the 4 and which one's the 5. It doesn't matter. But I think that's a combination that we want to see more of anyway going forward, just the way the league is evolving. And so it'll be good tonight to see him with Draymond. And, hopefully Zaza's back soon, and obviously Steph and Sean, and we can get the full complement of guys. But during this stretch, it's been good to really get Jordan more minutes and more experience.
Steve, you've obviously talked about trying to find Draymond periodic chances to rest throughout the season. The fact that he had 2 weeks off, is part of you kind of happy about that? Do you think he'll be a little bit fresher come postseason?
I am now that we went whatever 5-0 without him. Yes, I'm glad he got that rest. But yeah, same thing with Steph. I mean, we're very blessed to be in a situation where we can lose those guys and still win because of the depth of our roster. And in the long run, much like KD last year when he missed those 18 games, what looks like adversity can turn into opportunity, not only for other players to play, but for the player who's injured to recharge. And I think that'll happen.
Steve, last season and this season, what has Mike Brown meant to you and your staff?
Sounds like you're doing a piece on Mike.
I'm trying to.
We got to do this right now before. No. I love Mike. He's sharp. He's a great friend. He's a great teammate. He could very easily be a domineering personality, given that he's been a head coach in this league for 8-9 years, whatever it was. And yet he's taken to the assistant's role really well. He's got great suggestions, but he backs off when he needs to. He understands my role. He understands the seat that I'm in, and because he was there, so he has a good feel for when to say something and when not to. But he's been great. He's really fantastic.
In terms of his approach and just role, how similar or different is it with how Luke handled that?
Yeah, similar. I mean, we haven't really changed a whole lot over the years, over the 4 years that I've been here. We're very collaborative. Everybody has a voice. So the role is pretty much the same as Alvin Gentry's, pretty much the same as Luke's. We all chip in, we all present cases, and we come to a consensus, and then we move forward, and Mike's a big part of that.
Steve, when you mentioned getting a look at Kevin and Draymond and Jordan together, well, I went off in my head about the Houston Rockets. And I asked that this morning, Daryl Morey said that basically that they're obsessed with beating you guys. My question to you is, how do you feel about what they're doing this year, and how do you look at them?
Oh, they've been great. I mean, I thought they made some really good off-season additions. They're better defensively, and obviously Chris Paul gives them a different dimension. I mean, they've been destroying everybody, so they've got a hell of a team. But I don't wake up in the morning thinking about them. I think about what I'm going to have for breakfast. I also think about lunch and what we're going to do at practice and what movie my wife and I are going to watch that night. So there's plenty of time to think about the Rockets and the Spurs and Cleveland and everybody else who's challenging us. But it's a good position to be in, knowing people are thinking about us.
Steve, just to pile on to things that you don't probably think about every day, but with Luke Walton, your friendship, and how have you seen him evolve over the last couple of years, and just the communication you guys have had about how he's coaching this season?
He was made for this job. So even 2 years ago when he took the job, I never worried about him. I don't know that I've seen some dramatic evolution, because he was born to do this anyway, and the experience that he had here when I was out, he was so good. Well, I think the biggest evolution came at the beginning of that run here. When I went out, he only had 1 year of coaching experience, and he was, and he would admit to, he was panicked, like, oh my God, all of a sudden I got to draw up the plays and know the calls, and it's a different role. But it's also not rocket science. It's basketball, and Luke has as sharp a basketball mind as anybody I've ever met. And so for Luke, it was really a matter of over a few weeks, like practicing drawing the plays on the board, which I did my first year. I spent all of training camp. I'd be on the bus going to exhibition games, practicing drawing up all of our plays. But it's like anything else in life. You practice stuff, you get better, and because he's in such a comfort zone in the gym, coaching a team, the adjustment happened like that. I think we won, 38 out of 40. Raymond out of
39 and
39 and 4. So he did pretty well right away, but he adapted so quickly. And then big adjustment for him going forward was just obviously taking over a really young team and navigating, a young roster and new management. And so those are the things that are new for him. The coaching stuff, in terms of just on the floor and in practice, he's a natural.
Steve, if my math is right, you guys will play 3 games in about 65 hours. How do you feel about having back-to-back games going into the Christmas Day game with obviously just the 1 day off in between, kind of?
God, that was quick math. 65?
Yes.
All right. Is that right, Raymond?
That is right for now, before I have a chance to.
Good Elias.
It would be 72 if you played at night.
I got you, yeah. So it's minus
the 7 hours.
Minus the
72 hours.
But it's 70, it would normally be a 7:30 game.
Right.
We're in the San Jose State, so it's gotta be close.
7:30 now.
65 and a half.
4:24.
65 and a half.
65 and a half.
though, right?
Yeah, it's at noon, so, yeah, gotta take that.
Well, those
I said
30
roughly.
minutes matter. If we're gonna frame the question in exact minutes and time. No, it's a weird schedule. The home back-to-backs are something that have not been very prevalent over the years, but this year there are more of them for everybody, I think, because of the league's desire to cut back on travel. So you're seeing more home back-to-backs around the league. And then obviously a noon game is rare, but to have that all in a 3-day span, 4-day span is different, but doesn't bother me. I mean, it's all part of it. We just go out and play.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.